SmartRecruiters, not a small company, not a humongous company, but to make that kind of pivot in the time frame that they did, I was on stage with them in Madrid in February, and they just made the fucking pivot.
It's going to be a win. That's what I think more companies have to do. I'm with you. That was the point.
Well, we saw what it did to Monster, and we saw what it did to CareerBuilder.
Rich Lewis Jones laying the wood to Josh Burson.
Emotional damage.
I'm back, baby.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Hide your kids. Lock the doors. You're listening to HR's most dangerous podcast. Chad Sowash and Joel Cheeseman are here to punch the recruiting industry right where it hurts. Complete with breaking news, brash opinion, and loads of snark. Buckle up, boys and girls. It's time for the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the podcast. We've got fun and games. Hi, boys and girls. It's the Chad and Cheese Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joel Pet Sounds Cheeseman.
I'm Chad, indeed, scammy texts. Sowash.
And I'm JT, my back hurts, Odonnell.
And on this episode,
I don't want to know.
Indeed is chatting. CareerBuilder plus Monster are selling, and SmartRecruiters is evolving. Let's do this.
Hospitality is the heart of our society. It brings people together to share great food, drinks, and experiences. But successfully managing a restaurant or hotel is no easy feat. That's where Harry comes in. Harry is the frontline employee experience platform that helps you build, manage, and engage great teams. With Harry, managers can easily find and hire top talent, manage timekeeping, and communicate with employees at any time from any place. Candidates and team members can quickly and efficiently apply for jobs, swap shifts, and access important information entirely from their mobile devices. And Harry's robust employee engagement tools make team members feel more connected than ever. With Harry, as an owner or operator, you get a bird's eye view of your business, from turnover cost, labor cost, employee sentiment, compliance risk, and team performance. Run your business better by understanding the power of your people. Because when your team is the heart of your business, Harry is the heartbeat. See how it transforms your business.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Oh, Mr. Carter reference. I love it. Who was your favorite character on Mr. Carter?
Oh, shit.
Vinny Barbarino.
Vinny Barbarino. Oh, yeah, definitely. Vinny Barbarino.
Horseshack was pretty good, too. Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter. Jesus.
So what were you doing?
Yeah, so I'm in the crossroads of like college visits, graduation, and my dad falling. All kinds of stuff are going on with me right now. But I took my daughter, went up to Chicago, took in a Cubs game. Then we drove out to Notre Dame, visited Notre Dame, came back to Chicago, hung out, ate some Italian beefs and deep dish. And then we visited Northwestern and the University of Chicago, then came back and had a bunch of family come in. And my oldest son, firstborn, graduated high school. He'll be going to Indiana University in Bloomington in August. So yeah, so big things happening here on the ranch.
Party University. I
mean, very few aren't party universities, but yeah,
not like Bloomington.
Indiana's a pretty good time, I'm sure.
Like ranked in the top 5 of party universities, solid for like 20 years, dude. So okay, no, it's good. Okay.
He obviously chose it for academical, intellectual, academic reasons.
Yeah,
clearly. He's
How about you, JT?
So yeah, I'm back, and we missed the last week, and so I'm 2 weeks out, so I'm ready to rock today. And we got CareerBuilder Monster, Indeed. We got everything. We got so much red meat today.
It is.
I'm ready to rock. But I do want to say, speaking of old and good stuff, Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys passed away, and I know you guys probably know the Beach Boys. A lot of the young ones don't. Any Beach Boy memories? Favorite songs? JT's
I got to dance. I was a cheerleader in high school, captain of my squad, and I got to dance on stage with the Beach Boys to Be True to Your School. They chose cheerleaders from across the state to do a routine on stage. So that's my big Beach Boys memory in front of like 15,000 people.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
There you go.
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I cannot do that. I'm just going to shut up.
I'll bring the routine out at Wreckfest. You let me know.
So did you meet them, or were you just like dancer in the background?
They, of course, they came back and did the obligatory shook our hands and then hit the stage kind of
Was
thing.
Brian Wilson still around by then?
Yeah.
Was he totally out of it? He was totally off his tits,
I do
right?
remember everybody was like, dang, these guys are old, right? I'm 17 years old going, what? So.
Dude's doing
it wasn't the Kokomo video, which, by the way, no one's favorite song is Kokomo of the Beach Boys. John Stamos playing the bongos.
It's memorable. Yeah, it's memorable.
I'm going to go Sloop John B is my favorite Beach Boys song. And Pet Sounds, the album, one of the 100 best ever. If you love the Beatles, there is no Beatles without the Beach Boys. And, of course, without the Beatles, there's not a lot of what came after that. So if you love the Beatles, pay homage to the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys. You guys are clearly bored with this conversation. So let's get to it.
Is it time for shout outs?
Shout outs, as you guys know, are sponsored by our friends at Kiora. That's text recruiting made simple and affordable.
Made simple.
My shout out, pretty obvious one. Father's Day. Father's Day is this weekend. My biological stepmother have gone to the big sky up above, and my father at 85 is still chugging. He's not without his faults, and his memory is fading. But I'm celebrating father. I'm really focused on Father's Day and being father myself. My son leaving for school, so it's just sort of on the mind. If you're near your father, hug him, tell him you love him, because Father's Day doesn't get a lot of respect. And I have a little comedic clip that kind of encapsulates what Father's Day has become. But check this out. I think you'll enjoy it.
Father's Day is the worst holiday in the world. I've done the research. I already know. Let me tell you something. Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world. Christmas is first. So that means it's Jesus, then your mama. You know what Father's Day fall at? Number 20. I can't think of 18 other holidays. Do you realize?
Arbor Day.
Halloween is number 6.
Oh, yeah.
Does that mean ghosts and goblins go before fathers? Arbor Day is number 13. I don't even know what that is. I just know it come before me. That's crazy. Columbus Day is number 16. Celebrating Columbus Day is like celebrating somebody finding money in your house. Where you get that $50 from? I discovered it in your kitchen.
Shout out to fathers. Happy Father's Day, everybody. All the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day, gang.
What you got, JT? Mother JT.
My shout outs to Mark Cuban, who just made what they're calling a bold prediction. You'll find it in Inc. magazine. And he's saying that, because of AI, in the next 3 years or so, people are really going to be seeking out human interaction, right? You're going to get out of the office, you're going to get out and want to connect. And I agree with him. I think that if you remember this little thing called the pandemic, right post-pandemic, everyone was spending money on experiences, right? It was like that was the reaction to it. And I think with AI, we're going to have a very similar reaction. I've been told, and I haven't seen it in quotes, but I've been told by multiple people who know me that Gary Vaynerchuk has said there'll be a day where people will pay to take a walk with you or something like that, that we're just going to get to a place where we're going to be paying for human interaction. And I don't know if it's necessarily human action, but more like knowledge exchange, and we trust humans more and we want to just talk to a real person instead of a bot. So I'm with him on the prediction, and I think it's cool.
Well,
all right.
JT totally stole my shout out. Although
what?
I do have his tweet that he put out, which is a little condensed form. Quote, within the next 3 years, there will be so much AI, in particular AI video, which we're going to see a little bit later, kids. People won't know if they see or what they see or hear is real, which will lead to an explosion of face-to-face engagement, events, jobs. Those that were in the office will be in the field. Call it the Milli Vanilli effect. Girl, you know it's true. Over 80% of you watching right now, you watch over and over. We know you do, but you haven't liked and you haven't subscribed. Let's do that. Let's do that now. Okay, I get the deep fake
needs a better
aspect.
name.
I get the deep fake aspect. We're not going to know. It's like don't believe your lying eyes kind of thing. That's going to be an actual thing. But the whole hot take on explosion to face, just I think humans are more Wall-E than they are really caring about needing the social vibe. Period. I mean, the reason why in the pandemic we needed it is because we couldn't have it. Now we can have it whenever we want it, and we don't do it. Right now we can do it. Right? Mm-hmm. And we don't want it. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk, that dude is fucking off his rocker. They might pay him for a walk, right? I get that. They pay Gary Vaynerchuk or Mark Cuban for a walk, but they're not going to pay Chad and Cheese. They might pay JT for a walk, maybe, but come on.
Okay, but do you remember when they automated the phone and you got so sick of hitting 1, 5, 7 that everybody just started going 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 to speak to an operator? That's what I think about when I think about AI. We're massively automating everything with AI. Everyone's playing with everything. You're eventually going to get to a place that I just want to talk to a human. And I do think that's going to happen.
Well, I get that. I just don't think we're going to. I think we've gotten to the point where we don't even know our neighbors' names anymore. We don't even go to our neighbors' kids' softball games anymore. I remember growing up, that's our neighbors would actually come to games and stuff. That doesn't happen anymore. And we don't, so I just don't see that happening. It's very optimistic and I love optimism, but humans are stupid. I mean, we're just going to self-destruct.
The explosion in pet ownership says that people want that sort of organic connection, but not with people because people suck. Like my dog, cool. Yeah. I'll hang out with my dog, but Chad, no, that's a bridge too far.
On the record, humans do not deserve dogs. We do not deserve dogs. They are the best thing on the planet, bar none, period.
Chad loves dogs.
Well, it's my dog's birthday today. I'm not going to disagree with you.
Oh, right. Mark Cuban, a proud IU graduate. Mark Cuban, by the way. So you can party and do great things, kids.
There you go.
Can party and do great things.
Oh, I like free stuff.
Brings us to free stuff.
And I just want to comment that it's been 6 months before these two have finally decided that I can actually do something and not mess it up on the show. So I would love to announce it today.
All right.
I am now going to explain the amazing free stuff that you can get from this show.
Yes.
But first, can I just say up front, you can't win any of this junk if you don't play. So please go to chadandcheese.com/free. Do you hear me now? Don't complain when you don't win. All right, folks?
It's chadcheese.com, not chattyandcheese.com.
Sorry, Chad Cheese. See, and this is why they don't give it to me. Yeah. I got no rehearsal, people. I was thrown into this. Zero rehearsal.
This is already off the rails, Chad.
Let's go. All right, let's start with some whiskey because it's shocking. It's all booze. All right. We're going to go with whiskey from Second City Lovers over at Van Hack. Thank you, Van Hack, for the whiskey. You can win bourbon barrel aged syrup. That way you can claim you're not drinking when you're having your pancakes. Bob and Doug McKenzie over at Kiora. T-shirts, I can attest.
Hey,
the T-shirts.
We're doing our movie. Don't wreck our show, you hoser.
T-shirts, I will attest. They are super soft. They're very nice. Those are for the red shoe wearing weirdos, apparently, at Aaron App. By the way, they told me to say all this. Sorry, I'm in advance. Some craft beer. Some craft beer from the Job Data Geeks over at Aspen Tech Labs. And here's the biggie. If it's your birthday, you are going to get some rum with plum.
Really? Can you feel the tension in the air?
A little more feeling next time.
No, I can't.
If you don't go to chadcheese.com/free.
That's right. All right, guys. Another trip around the sun for Karen Wong, Eli Karstens, Kimberly Ulstrup, TJ Elo, Robin Walsh, Zach Martin, Catherine Henry, Eric Baker Mayfield, Linda Whitmore, Summer Baruth, Katie Chrissa, Jennifer McClure, and Jeff Lackey, everybody. Jeff Lackey. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday.
And what time is it?
Oh, is it time? Is it time to go somewhere?
Oof, events.
Yes.
Where are we going, boys?
Well, Stephen, you know where we're going because you're going to be there too. As a matter of fact, we're all going to be there. Travel sponsors by Shaker Recruitment Marketing. Next on the board is RecFest UK in Nebworth. That's July 10th. And this week on LinkedIn, the boys over at RecFest pushed out a promo video. that was primo. You got to check this out. Go ahead and roll that, Joel.
I'm so excited to be at RecFest 2030. I cannot wait to see the AI avatars of Hung Lee, Bill Boorman, Chad and Cheese. It's going to be amazing.
Hey, it's your boy here at RecFest 2030. Make sure you subscribe to Only Skills for the latest in all things talent. Don't miss out. Rupert here from RecFest 2030. Subscribe to Only Skills for the latest on all things talent. Don't miss out.
I am so excited to be at RecFest 2030. I cannot wait to see the AI avatars of Hung Lee, Bill Boorman, Chad and Cheese. Wow, RecFest 2050. It's changed so much in 25 years. Robots, drones, Nebworth's still here though. Hey everyone, it's your favorite AI influencer here at RecFest 2090. Can you believe how much this place has changed in the last 50 years?
That was all AI, kids. Google's new VO3 AI avatars are fucking wild. So, I mean, literally, Google has, first and foremost, they lost the lead in AI, right? OpenAI came out, and next thing you know, Google's like, what the fuck? Those guys, they've got DeepMind, they've got a lot of shit that's actually happening right now, and it's pretty amazing the kind of content that they're putting out, but it's also scary as shit.
It's off the tracks already. The best one it's two Yetis, two Sasquatches, and one's black and one's white, and they do like mushrooms and coke. It's pretty funny. So people are getting really creative with this stuff, and we'll get to the creator economy at some point in the near future. But we have a lot of other stuff to cover before that. All right, guys, the doctor is in. The doctor is in per the better so wash and the much better looking one. CareerBuilder plus Monster is reportedly closing its U.S. headquarters, terminating employees and putting itself up for sale. The company, owned by Apollo Global Management and the Ontario's Teachers Pension Plan Board, that's a mouthful, is exploring a sale process and providing notices to most U.S.-based employees, despite the company's statement contradicting the termination letter. It looks like it's going down. Chad, you're pretty close to this in more ways than one. What are your thoughts?
So she was incredibly excited to be able to get the scoop on this. That made incredible. She asked me, she's like, hey, did you know about the Monster Career Builder news? I'm like, no, what? She read it to me like, holy shit. Yeah, she got the scoop on it. She even got the scoop on AIM Group and everybody else. So it's pretty amazing.
Nice.
So the question is this the end of an era or a new beginning? I'll get back to that later. The last decade has truly been hard to watch after being a part of the big launch of the combined Monster Board OCC merger in January of 1999, which created Monster.com. What we've watched over the past decade with Monster is what happens when accountants start controlling a company. No vision, no understanding of what companies were acquired and how to blend those acquisitions into an ecosystem, and an overall lack of innovative focus and leadership. Monster beat newspapers, became more prominent than major advertising agencies, only in the end to be handed over to some fucking bean counters. Then you have CareerBuilder, the nemesis of Monster, who built probably the best sales machine this industry will ever know. They knew how to blend their acquisitions into the CareerBuilder ecosystem, but in the end, they were sold to Apollo, who did what private equity does best: rip great companies apart and sell them for pieces. Now back to my question. Is this the end of an era or a new beginning? Because we're talking about the process or the prospect of sale. First off, the tech is old. Even major systems are rebuilding. So Monster plus CareerBuilder would have to start from the ground up on tech, making the tech currently worthless, in my honest opinion. The candidate databases, well, you can buy that data for much cheaper than actually an acquisition. The major asset I see are the people. But once again, Apollo isn't a people company, and buying people is fleeting because they can walk out the door the next day. Last but not least, the brands. Monster and CareerBuilder were once worldwide and known brands, but unfortunately those brands have become incredibly tarnished and have atrophied with bean counter and PE neglect. So we just dropped a great episode, an interview from Unleash, where we found out that gem.com, that domain was $2 million. So that's a nice benchmark, I think, for a company like maybe Stepstone with designs on coming to America. Just pay a cool $10 million and walk away with a Monster and CareerBuilder domains and brands and let the day begin.
Did you say Stepstone? Did someone put that in your ear? Maybe you've heard that one.
Yeah,
heard that one before.
It was one of my friends over in Europe.
Well, before we get to my predictions, I want to go. I think it's time, Chad.
Yes.
Time for a
history lesson.
History lesson.
All right, Chad touched on this, but it's really fascinating. At least I find it fascinating. So, if we go back in time to the world of display ads in the mid late 90s. Mm-hmm. Major newspapers were getting 5, 10, 20 grand for one display ad on any given, like say Sunday, for example. Advertising agencies, recruiting advertising agencies were making money hand over fist, basically creating this stuff, putting it out for businesses, for employers. And then the internet happened, and basically the world said, let's take the ad on the paper and put it on the computer screen. And we could do it for so much cheaper. We're not printing paper. We're not doing all those things. So there was this whole array of newcomers. There were about a dozen or so, and they were selling ads, like free ads, $99 unlimited. The ad could be as long as you want. And you had two brands, mainly Monster. Monster, and Chad, you're close to this, but Monster was basically like, look, we're gonna undercut the newspapers because we can, and in the next 5, 10, 20 years, we're gonna be getting that $5, 10, $20,000 potentially for a package on Monster for advertising.
More than one job.
So their mindset was kill the paper, kill the newspaper.
Yep.
Craigslist obviously was a big part of it as well. So you fast forward, it's like, let's build these brands, let's do Super Bowl ads, let's buy blimps, let's do all this crazy shit because we need to be the brand when employers think I need to post my job. Holy shit, right? If history doesn't repeat itself, it certainly rhymes. So we see Indeed, and this goes back to our relationship where we met first was when you were Direct Employers, and a guy named Jason Goldberg, who was then CEO and founder of Jobster, which was one of these upstarts, because Google became a thing, and I don't think anyone sort of thought of that, but Google gave you the ability to say, look, I need a job in Toledo. I'm going to search for a job in Toledo. There was no monolithic site that I would go to potentially to do that. Now, Monster and CareerBuilder and everybody still had great search rankings, but then Indeed comes along and says, well, we can undercut all this big brand stuff by going to Google and driving traffic from that. They were largely ignored by Monster, who was now a public company, CareerBuilder, who was like focused on, we're a newspaper, but we're online. We're doing parties in Mexico. We're taking people out to games. We're doing all things that agencies did. Yeah. And all the while, Indeed is undercutting the entire process. Job seekers go into Indeed, and job boards are dumb enough at the time, and a lot of people saw this, like, why are you letting them index your jobs?
Yeah.
Why are you letting them do this? But they kept letting them do it. They could have destroyed Indeed early. They could have destroyed Simply Hired, which Indeed eventually killed. But could have totally just
easily
killed them in the womb, done, Monster keeps going. But they didn't. In fact, they even put APIs on their sites to backfill their jobs, which, shocker, had a backlink to jobs, the key phrase anchor text jobs, which helped Indeed further get better search rankings to quicken the demise of Monster and CareerBuilder. Well, before they knew it, 2008 happened, the world, Great Recession happened, and companies started saying, why do we need Monster? We can use Indeed, which is cheaper. We only pay for clicks. Like, it's just so much better. So there was this earthquake that Indeed and CareerBuilder never recovered from. They have, like you said, fast forward to today, Indeed and LinkedIn are like 80% probably of the market share. Monster and CareerBuilder are a small part. They are a $200 million revenue business combined, apparently. So there is some value there. We know Monster at least has some global presence, but ultimately, these companies were killed by Indeed. Indeed killed a lot of their competitors, and now we live in a world where we are now. We'll get to Indeed later, but Indeed, again, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Indeed, I think, is facing a similar threat, and we'll get to that in our next piece. So, but you have companies that once ruled this landscape were once these huge monolithic brands, and they're basically gone. I mean, these companies are for sale, clearance, yard sale, TJ Maxx, clearance rack. Nobody wants them. They're shrinking. They're not growing. So that's what we have. Now, what happens next? Chad touched on acquisition. So I have three scenarios that I think are potentially possible for the CareerBuilder plus Monster future. Number one is, I still think ZipRecruiter could go private. I think Apollo could roll up a ZipRecruiter acquisition, go private, bring all these brands together, get them up to snuff or whatever, do whatever Apollo does, cut as much fat as they possibly can, maybe get this thing to some crazy profitability, and then they could go public again, or they could maybe sell it to somebody else. So I think Apollo or private equity could roll this thing up with ZipRecruiter. Number two, you once said that about StepStone. So number two is Indeed, Recruit Holdings. Look, they got this thing down pat. They've whether it's Workopolis is ZipRecruiter got Workopolis, but so it's Simply Hired. Indeed knows this. Backfill. All they would have to do is have these properties, roll the Indeed content around job postings. They've done this before. So Recruit Holdings could further, sort of consolidate this market, really kill the competition, and roll that $200 million combined revenue into Recruit Holdings kitty. Now, number three, which I think is probably the most interesting, is an international player that wants to get into America could easy button this thing, StepStone, Seek, Job and Talent, for a pennies on the dollar. You guys can have a footprint in America, brands that people know in America, and you guys could hit the ground running and in America, the largest economy in the world. So number one, private equity rolls this thing up with ZipRecruiter. Number two, Recruit Holdings just buys it, kills it, throws in backfill. Or number three, there's an international player that wants to make a splash in America. Those are my three predictions for what happens now with CareerBuilder plus Monster.
JT, you've had a lot to soak up. What do you think?
I mean, if I was in the room with Joel right now, I'd just pat him on the head and say, "You're so cute."
A lot of bullshit to step over is what.
First of all,
saying.
I love that you're talking about the brand. Go ask anybody under the age of 25 if they know what the heck CareerBuilder or Monster are. Nothing. Bruh. Okay. Secondly,
tons of trust though. That's the thing. That's the thing that matters the most. Which I only think, which is one of the reasons why I think it's only a $10 million.
Stop. Nobody's looking at this from the job seeker perspective, which is, I appreciate you letting me be here. They hate CareerBuilder and Monster. They hate Indeed. That's not going to change. The perception is there, and there's nothing you're going to do to change that. Okay. Job boards as we know it are going to die. And that's what they are labeled as. And if people can't see that, and that the change is coming and how we're going to recruit and connect, my gosh, it's adorable, but I wouldn't touch those assets. You can't do anything with them. Let them sunset. You just can't. Job seekers want no part of it. Ask them how they really feel. And,
did I mention the combined revenue of $200 million a year?
That's a drop in the bucket, and it's crushing. Let me tell you a story. In 2018, a Fortune 100 company subsidiary hired me to go through their budget. They were spending $500,000 between CareerBuilder and Monster. I said, go into your ATS system and show me how many hires you got from both of those last year. Goose egg. $500,000 goose egg. So I'm sorry, there's a lot of people that just, to hold on to budget, pay for stuff. Not even sure if it works or not. That $200 million is going to dwindle. That is why they are selling it. And I'm sorry, they were amazing. They had great runs. All the stuff that you recapped about the innovation, yes. But people innovate and then they don't. And Indeed is in a heck of a lot of trouble. If they don't pivot, this is where I give LinkedIn props. LinkedIn has figured out that the future is video, has built TikTok for careers, whether you like it or not. That is where that's all going to happen. They've built $1 billion creator economy for the white collar worker. They have pivoted. They understand they need to pivot. And so that's the truth. But gosh, love you.
I don't.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
I don't think JT's falling for the banana in the
Absolutely
tailpipe.
not. No, not with the people I work with every day.
The sad thing is this story might be, well, it's not over, but it's close to over. And we've been talking about these companies for 8 years, and it's kind of sad that we won't be able to talk about them much more. There will be a final, like, they're done. They're out. Monster.com is now an energy drink URL, and they're out, and CareerBuilder is just sunk. So that's a bit of melancholy for me. Let's take a quick break and get back to when we come back. We'll talk about Indeed, the next victim of history.
Next victim, step up.
So you posted a new job ad. Now you can sit back and wait for the applications to roll in, right? That's why we built JobPixel. Imagine showing candidates why your company is great with real people, real stories, and real culture. With JobPixel, it's not just another job ad. It's an invitation to something much bigger.
Video gives you a 3 times better response rate. So instead of chasing after candidates, they'll be coming to you.
And with a 34% boost in conversions, candidates aren't just looking, they're applying.
And if you're worried about people clicking away, don't be. Our videos reduce bounce rates by 25%. That means they're watching, they're engaged, and they're interested.
282% more engagement. Yeah, you're gonna need a bigger inbox.
Finding the right candidate is tough, but with JobPixel, it doesn't have to be. Show your company's authentic story, and the candidates will follow.
Let's make recruiting fun again, because honestly, it could use some help.
Do you want to see how JobPixel can save you time and money while achieving your KPIs? Schedule a demo today.
All right, guys, watch out. Paradox. Indeed is developing conversational AI tools. Career Scout for job seekers and Talent Scout for employers. That's creative. To simplify the job search and hiring processes. The tools currently in beta testing will be unveiled at Indeed FutureWorks 2025. You want some more Indeed news? You know you do if you're listening to this show. Indeed, job offer scam texts are on the rise. These scams, which often promise quick cash for product testing or data entry, are particularly insidious because they take advantage of people who may be struggling financially.
Yes.
By the way, they also have a new CMO and a new focus on AI with their new CEO. Chad, there's a lot of Indeed news going on. What are your thoughts?
So, new conversational AI. Tell me you're 5 years behind without telling me you're 5 years behind. This feels like a relic that Chris Hyams left behind for Daco. Anyway, before we dig too deep, what's your reaction on the Chris Hyams being canned story? I mean, my bad. Deciding to leave story. What's your take?
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah, I missed last week to comment on that. It's apropos that Apple's Developer Day was recently, because I think there's a lot of comparisons that you can make between Apple and Indeed. So Indeed, you had some, relatively innovative founders, CEOs. You had Ronnie and Paul. I mean, when I say innovation in our space, it means let's copy Google. Let's copy Google and make it for jobs. But that was innovation for our space. So it worked. And then Tim Cook is like Hyams, comes in, company guy, says all the right things, super nice, doesn't rock the boat, drives them into incredible growth, a growth period. I think when he took over, they had around 300 employees. Now they are who they are today. But the world changed. And just like Apple, the world is moving on from a device in your hand. They've tried to do headsets. Innovation just isn't working in an AI world with what Apple has been famous for over a decade. So Indeed is at this crossroads of like, hey, this whole job posting thing was fun, or maybe JT would say cute, but the world is changing. We're moving into AI. We're moving into a totally different realm. And Chris Himes is not the guy to take you to that place. So nice guy, just not the one to take them into where they are going now. And I think Ditko is an interim guy. I don't think he's the one that's going to be there long term. But but the problem is these jobs suck. Nobody that knows shit wants to like run a job site. So they're going to have a lot of fun trying. Like, thank God Recruit Holdings is a good staffing company, because they're going to have to find someone to drive this turkey, and it's not going to be something a lot of people want to do. So that's my comment on Indeed. I think they're at a crossroads. They're trying to figure out. We've talked in nauseum about the spaghetti they've thrown at the wall, hoping that it sticks. Now they're going to have somebody with hopefully some AI chops to try to throw some stuff at the wall that does stick, which I think takes us into conversational AI and some of the things that they're doing. Interestingly, I've mentioned this, but I was on a call with an executive who's a former Indeed employee, and he said, "You know what the biggest threat to Indeed is?" And I think I said programmatic, and he said, "Nope, it's not programmatic. Nope. The biggest threat, it's not LinkedIn, it's Paradox." He said, "Why would you post a job when all the data is there? Paradox can, like, you got it, right?" So shockingly, yes, he says that, and then Indeed launches a conversational AI competitor, I assume, to Paradox, who's been doing this thing for 10 plus years. So you tell me who's better at this thing. And I don't think it's easy to do. We've seen chatbots come and go. I don't think it's easy. I think Indeed has its work cut out for it. So those are my basic thoughts in terms of where they're going. I think, the CMO that they have, you can tell a lot about where a company's going by their new executives, especially when a new CEO comes in. So the new CMO, no experience in recruiting, zip. No, like, he didn't come from that Baird, or like he doesn't have TMP experience. So where he comes from is automation platform. He worked at a company called Sligo, I believe it's how you pronounce it. He says in his updated LinkedIn profile, he says, quote, "I'm excited to help elevate the brand," meaning Indeed, power growth through AI-enabled marketing innovation. So that gives you a little tip of where Indeed is going when he says AI-enabled marketing innovation. That's where they're going. This guy would not have taken this job unless they sold him on, we're a lot more than just jobs. We're going to the next phase. And we'll have a fun time talking about the next phase of Indeed. But they have their work cut out for them.
Yeah. Well, one, they got to pivot, just like I said before. Two, they've got money. And three, it's not easy. You're right. But it's gotten a whole lot easier thanks to AI. I know a company right now that didn't have the money to build their Android app, right? It's hundreds of thousands of dollars 2 years ago to hire an Android app developer. You can build an iPhone app overnight, right? Now it's being completely built with AI. No developer needed. So when you start to think about what we're going to be able to do, they're going to be able to speed up getting there. Like, you're right, Paradox doing this for 10 years, amazing. But that first mover's advantage, they also spent a lot of money and had to do it a lot longer and harder, than to where we are now. So I don't rule Indeed out. I think they have to do something extremely dramatic, though, because the job seeker as a whole does not like them. Yes, they're the biggest one. But if your source does not like you, if you can't pivot and get them to not feel like they have to use you, but they want to use you, right? That's what they have to be looking at. And, it'll be interesting to see how it works. But
historically, go ahead, Chad.
4 points. First off, who's going to answer a message from Indeed's conversational AI if they're worried about being scammed? It doesn't matter whether it's a text or a messaging app.
You are proving
searches for Indeed text scams are up over 500%. Talk about shitty timing, right? Talk about shitty timing. Number two, Indeed will have the same old non-agentic tech issues that Monster and CareerBuilder had. Yes, they do have the opportunity and they have the money to be able to spin up new tech. The problem is they're talking about conversational AI. Everybody else is already 10 steps ahead of them with agentic AI, large language models and agentic, right? Number three, as Joel had said, and we're seeing this over and over and over, not just with Paradox, but with Fountain, with Gem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hiring companies are finally engaging candidates that they've already bought in their CRM and their ATS, which lessens the need to buy more candidates from Indeed. And fourth and final, Indeed has built bad and misguided products like CPSA, CPA, candidate monetization, and trying to spin rate hikes as healthy budget bullshit. It's all left a bad taste in the entire industry's mouth, including job seekers. Now, will this kill Indeed? No. Will Indeed's control weaken? Most definitely. Will employers smile when they start cutting Indeed's budget? You bet your fucking ass they will. That's the thing. They're not looking at what's actually happening and what kind of narrative they've been playing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's why Himes is out on his ass or decided to leave. I don't know.
Look, similar to Monster, when Indeed came around, companies are actively wanting to put money in something other than, at the time it was Monster.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
It's Indeed. And Chad and I have talked to multiple big company heads of talent that say we've reduced budget in double figures, and they want to do more. And things like conversational AI are doing that. So I find it hard. If Indeed came to me and I'm trying to get off the Indeed heroin drip and they go, hey, we got conversational AI now, I don't think I'm on board. I'm like, dude, I have made a decision to get off your heroin drip a long time ago. I'm not getting back on because you have some new tech. And historically, in our space particularly, just because a company launches new stuff because they think it's the future does not mean they're going to get it right.
Right.
Be known. Chad probably remembers was Monster's Facebook sort of foray into social media, because social media was hot and Monster's going to be cool. And it just doesn't usually work. One, because the brand is associated with one thing and they try to switch it up. And then the other thing is they don't have the core competency. They don't have the talent to do it. Job boards and people who sell job postings have a really, narrow competency to now sell something outside of that is really, really hard. And I don't think you should discount that.
I'll just say one more thing. If I was running an enterprise and I had a big budget and you're not hiring as much right now, I would really be pulling back that Indeed spend. And I would start an earmark and say, let's go test every hot new thing out there, right? You all introduced me to Flockity. We're partnering with Flockity right now. We're getting 98% net new traffic directly to companies' career sites. So that's interesting. That's all done through video on social media, right? Like there's so many cool things starting to happen out there that are really legit, that are not a lot of money for you to test. That's what I would be doing right now. I'd have a total test bed. Let's try 20, 30 different of these startups right now and see what works, because they're going to hit. They're going to be the next new thing.
That's cool and sexy, JT. That's right. Well, one final word for Indeed.
60% of the time, it works every time.
All right, let's go to the tale of two innovators. Innovators in quotes, everybody. Our friends at SmartRecruiters has launched an AI-powered hiring platform featuring Winston, an agentic AI companion. They say streamlines the hiring process for recruiters, candidates, and hiring managers. Meanwhile, Chad, your boy, Josh Bersin, is touting Workday's latest innovation, dubbed the Workday economy. That's creative. God. As big as Workday's marketing department must be, that's what they came up with. Okay. Bersin's touting it as, quote, a bold new strategy, end quote, that's going to, quote, super fuel Workday's growth, end quote. Super fuel, Chad, not just regular fuel. What are your thoughts on these two innovators?
So here's a great excerpt from Rich Lewis Jones' LinkedIn post, quote, fair play to Workday for catching up with the rest of the industry. But if you think this is a new, bold strategy, Josh Bersin, and believe it is, you've been living under a fucking rock. I put fucking in there for the last 10 years and only been listening to those who get paid to tell you it is. Now, end quote. Now, Rich didn't come out and say it, but guys like Josh Bersin aren't just analysts. They're paid content creators. They create narratives and content specifically for clients like Workday. Call it corporate propaganda or whatever the fuck you like, right? It's a great way for a huge company like Workday to get their narrative out. Is that bad? No, but as HR practitioners, it's pretty damned important that you first know this is happening. And second, have multiple sources in which to educate yourself. Okay, so enough about Workday. Let's stop talking about them and talk a little bit about SmartRecruiters versus Workday, right? This is a SmartRecruiters versus Workday segment. But I don't like that comparison. I think it's more of like an apple to a truckload of oranges, which is why I like throwing in iCIMS into the mix here. Yes, kids, iCIMS. Because I think iCIMS' announcement this week was incredibly telling. iCIMS announced agentic capabilities with a, drum roll please, press release, while SmartRecruiters had a live on stage Apple iPhone unveiling of Winston. Did you see that thing? SmartRecruiters went the iPhone route because it was big, right? So it gives you an idea which company is adding the agentic Me Too layers versus a company that's fully embracing tech today by rebuilding their systems for the future. So when we see companies like Google, which we did this week, start shedding search and ad teams and executives from those ad teams and search teams, reported buyouts are happening and now focusing squarely on AI and agentic products like Google Maps, you can see the importance of throwing out old models and retooling for the future. And from all three companies we just talked about, SmartRecruiters is the only one, I believe, who is committed to doing just that. The other two has one selling propaganda. The other one is just dropping press releases, Me Too press releases.
I love what SmartRecruiters is doing. And by the way, full disclosure, Josh Burson, SmartRecruiters is a sponsor of the show, and we love them.
We've been on stage with iCIMS, SmartRecruiters. We've never been to Workday.
Workday won't call us back, unfortunately. Workday won't call us back. I just love the play to win attitude, and I particularly love when companies say, you know what, if we're going to be disrupted, we're going to do the disrupting. And so many companies get just set in their ways and their profits and they don't change. And SmartRecruiter said, you know what, this is the future. We're going to change it. I was reminded, Chad, of a conversation we had with Dan Finnegan in 2019 when he was CEO of JobBite. He said, quote, we felt that the era of the ATS was over, and that the opportunity would be the recruiting platform and suite of products that service the entire value chain of recruiting was a limited window, and that time was now. I'm guessing that Dan felt like he wasn't supported in that vision, which is why he's at Inboarder now. But in 2019, he saw where the world was going, and many have not embraced it, but I see SmartRecruiters embracing it. I think it's fantastic. And I think that, oddly enough, I'm starting to see Paradox ads on Google about they are a conversational ATS. And I feel like the new thing now is going to be conversational ATS. And we see Winston going that route. We see Indeed kind of going that route maybe. And obviously Paradox going that route. And I think part of it is it's harder to value a chatbot or a conversational AI company. But if you can start valuing your company as an ATS, like that becomes something that I can start putting my head around if I'm an investor or buying this thing. So I think this is the wave of where this is going. We covered it first, and you can see it in our archives, our chat with Dan Finnegan. But this is where I think the business is going, and I think it's fantastic. Rich Lewis Jones, awesome. To call out Burson and say, and quote, people are being influenced by people being paid extortionate amounts of money by big tech businesses to position them as trailblazers. Buyer beware. God bless Rich Lewis Jones, who's a VP at SmartRecruiters, for saying this publicly. Idiots like us, Chad, say it all the time, but people go, oh, those are dumbass podcasters who don't know shit. So God bless him. I love it. I love this story. SmartRecruiters, keep crushing it, man. I love it.
I have a question for you guys. So if I look at the three, SmartRecruiters is the most nimble, the most agile, not huge. And if you think about it, it's a great time not to be an overly huge company in our business because the amount of tech debt, investment, right? You're nimble. Name one massive company from our space, a Workday size, an iSIM size, that was able to just let go of the debt, accept it, pivot in order to stay going.
Well, I think
name one.
So SmartRecruiters has about 2,500 clients, right? That's still a big pivot for them. Still a big pivot for them. Now,
okay, fair.
Workday, I think if you take a look at Workday is a bunch of different ecosystems. You've got the piece of shit recruitment piece that's on there. You've got the HCM, you've got all this stuff, right? And then you've got iSIMs and SmartRecruiters, which is why I like that comparison better, because they're both applicant tracking system, both in the recruiting talent acquisition side of the house. And that's why I believe the leader makes all of this shit happen. Rebecca Carr was the chief product officer at SmartRecruiters, right? She brought in Sharon, who was the CEO of one of the companies that they acquired. She's now the CPO. She's now the chief product officer. You've got two product people that can see where product's going and where the industry's going. With iSIMs, what do you have? You have a company that couldn't go IPO, and now they're trying to look pretty and skinny up to hopefully get acquired. Again, that's my opinion, trying to get acquired. They're having a bean counter situation, much like Monster did, right? So they're not going to spend a lot of money to retool. SmartRecruiters is. So, I mean, there are a lot of dynamics that are happening, but to answer your question, SmartRecruiters, not a small company, not a humongous company, but to make that kind of pivot in the time frame that they did. I was on stage with them in Madrid in February, and they just made the fucking pivot. I mean, they just did it. I mean, that's amazing, and that's quick.
It's going to be a win. That's what I think more companies have to do. I'm with you. That was the point. You just got to go. You got to go for it. There's no more time left.
Yeah. Well, we saw what it did to Monster, and we saw what it did to CareerBuilder.
Rich Lewis Jones laying the wood to Josh Burson.
Emotional damage.
We'll be right back.
At Shaker Recruitment Marketing, our comprehensive services include branding, talent attraction, MarTech, and analytics, empowering you to achieve your recruitment marketing goals. We believe in doing things the right way, delivering the right message through the right activation, achieving the right conversion. For us, business is deeply personal. Our legacy is built on relationships. Together with our people, clients, and partners, we've been shaping the world of talent for over 70 years.
All right, JT, this is right in your wheelhouse, baby. Ooh. Warm up, get it warmed up. All right, user-generated content on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram will surpass traditional media in ad revenue this year. For the kids, that's TV, radio, billboards, et cetera, marking a significant shift in media consumption. This change, driven by a shift towards digital platforms, is impacting traditional media, forcing them to adapt to retain advertising income and attract younger audiences. Historic shift, JT, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Gartner predicts $480 billion economy by 2027. Economy. It feeds itself. You know, one of the things that we haven't figured out is that we're going to stop trading time for money. Jobs, as we know it, where you trade for hours, right? It's done. Okay. We now need to trade our knowledge for money. If I can solve your $10,000 problem in 10 minutes, you give me $10,000. And once we all started to figure, the creator economy's been doing that for a while now, haven't they? They've all got that figured out, but it's now coming to the mainstream, which gets me so excited. I mean, you all have been creators forever. You're it. You're old school. You're OG, you two.
Say more.
When you see where it's going and all the ways that you can monetize, right? The diversification of income streams. That's the new income security. Instead of being held by golden handcuffs, one paycheck, trading my time for money, that company can rip it out from me at any time, and I'm scrambling, right? We have hit the tipping point. Everyone is a creator. And it's not, people get wigged out and go, I'm not an influencer. No, you're a context creator. right? Share your knowledge, share your education. I mean, there's a reason why TikTok launched just a month and a half ago a new knowledge creators fund. Okay, where they will handpick you, and if you're doing videos a minute or longer that are just educational in nature, they're like giving you a huge payout on top of the normal payout because they see where it's going, right? So this is so exciting to me because everyone listening to this is a context creator. Everyone could be monetizing multiple different ways besides their day job. And that's where you create this income security that doesn't exist anymore. So, yeah, this girl's all in on this.
How do traditional companies combat this? Do they acquire? Do they? I love the ads on TV that look
acquire, they hire.
They look like a story from a mobile phone. Even the ads look like social media content.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do they buy? Do they like? What happens?
What do you mean? How do the companies purchase this?
How does Paramount discuss? Like, how do they buy the? Like, somebody's got to buy Snap at some point, right? Like somebody, like some of these.
100%. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it would be great. But what you're also seeing is a lot of agencies, right? There's a huge, rise in agencies. Why did I start ProVoice? Right? We already have 60 white collar workers making money signed by our company that we're partnering. Partners are coming to us and saying, hey, we need somebody to talk about this or that or that. Somebody worked for the FBI, a cyber psychologist, like it's right there. And so the people that'll win will put these agencies together, make it very easy for these companies to come and buy. Right. And if you think about it, it's micro influencing. We already know you don't go pay Kim Kardashian $1 million. You go pay 100,000 micro influencers, $10,000. You get way better engagement, right? Yeah. So we already know the shift is away from the mega influencer down to the micro influencer. So you look at that, you look at the agencies, it is so easy to execute and everybody wins.
And then how about the AI influencer?
Well, and so that's exciting because there are, mobile apps. If none of you have checked out mobile apps like, no, seriously, there's free mobile apps where you can download a video of yourself talking for 2 minutes and then you can give it a script and it just recreates you. And it's pretty solid as long as you don't use too many hand movements, right? It's like, it's really, really solid. So right. Yeah, don't be doing that. But, we'll have video authentication. And even then, like people, if the personality is there and the content's there, they don't really care, So we're in a really interesting time right now in terms of the ability to monetize. Any single person listening to this, recruiting HR, you literally could be monetizing as a context creator now, today.
I think it's got to be something that's authentic. Number one, if you don't have 25 years in the biz, like Joel and I do, right? I mean, we've got 25 years in the biz. That's experience. People are going to pay us for our knowledge, right? If you're a kid who's been in for 5 years, not so much. So it's got to be something. It's got to be something different, right? And
I disagree.
You've got to lean into what your strength is, right?
That kid with 5 years of knowledge has enough knowledge to influence everybody that has less than 5 years of knowledge and are going to relate to him better than the person that has 25 years. They've already got studies to show this. So you can monetize at any stage that you're at if you choose the right lane and you choose what you're going to monetize about. So, to your point, a lot of very experienced people are missing out right now. Yes. You guys got on the train early. So many people out there that can't get paid what they're worth anymore in a traditional job. Get into the freaking creator economy. This is your second act where you could be making dumb money. Dumb OnlyFans money right now with your knowledge. And that to me is the exciting thing for folks like us.
What's important though is they engage an agency. And I know that you're working very hard on that because user generated content is a business. That's pure and simple because if you're not, you've got to treat it like a business. You have to understand your targeted audience. You have to understand your TAM. You have to understand engagement, the tech platforms, marketing message, sales outreach, what you're going to use for that outreach. If there's an agency or different mechanisms, it can be incredibly hard, even if you have 1 million followers, right? You might not be getting all that you could out of that. So, I mean, it's whenever I talk to people who want to run a podcast or they want to become a quote unquote influencer, I'm like, what is your business model? And that's where they need people to be able to lead them into business models. And that's where agencies come in.
Right. That's exactly what we do at ProVoice, right? From the beginning to figuring out what your model is to making sure that you're monetizing correctly.
Yeah.
The truth is you don't need 1 million followers anymore. It doesn't matter anymore on platforms. the right piece of content goes viral, you will make a lot of money. You don't need a lot of followers to make a lot of money. What you need, and you are absolutely right, is the right process, the right monetization model, and consistency. A lot of people give up. Oh, I did 10 videos. It didn't work. It doesn't work that way. This is like brushing your teeth. Yeah. This needs to be habit. And you all know that. And that's where most people give up.
Well, you may not need 1 million people, but you may need 1,000 penises. Let me introduce you to Bonnie Blue. Speaking of OnlyFans, if you don't know Bonnie was famous for having sex with 1,000 guys in a pretty short period of time. What? Well, even OnlyFans has a line that you can't cross. Bonnie has recently been banned on OnlyFans for wanting to do the following. Check it out.
What challenges do you have next?
Bonnie Blue's petting zoo. I am going to be in a glass box, tied up, and it's going to be open for the public.
Oh my God.
Get me in the box, but people can join me to me, touch me, just look at me.
Where?
I'm going to be in the centre of London, but in a house.
Oh, okay. Not
in
like,
a house,
right,
in a
okay.
box, yeah.
So I was thinking like David Blaine.
I mean, I'd love to be on the back of a lorry in a glass box, my way through London.
Right.
That would probably be illegal.
Probably.
So I want to do 2,000.
2,000?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're going too far, but never going too far are the dad jokes, everybody.
Oh my God.
Guys, have you heard Grindr's launching a new app for roosters? Grindr's launching a new app for roosters. It's called Any Cock'll Do. Any Cock'll Do. Happy Father's Day, everybody. We out.
We out.
Thank you for listening to, what's it called? A podcast. The Chad. The Cheese. Brilliant. They talk about recruiting. They talk about technology. But most of all, they talk about nothing. Just a lot of shout-outs of people you don't even know. And yet you're listening. It's incredible. And not one word about cheese. Not one. Cheddar. Blue. Nacho. Pepper Jack. Swiss. So many cheeses and not one word. So weird. Anywho, be sure to subscribe today on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That way you won't miss an episode. And while you're at it, visit www.chatcheese.com. Just don't expect to find any recipes for grilled cheese. It's so weird. We out!